Good morning, this is KELOLAND on the go, with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
South Dakota Governor Larry Roden ordered flags in the state flown at half-staff Saturday in honor of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman.
Roden said in a social media post, "Violence has no place in our political system and it must end." Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he was horrified by the recent events in Minnesota.
Demonstrators gathered on Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls Saturday as part of the nationwide No Kings protest against Trump administration policies.
The crowd spanned 3 blocks, lining the streets with signs referencing democracy and the Constitution.
I think there's power in being together in this moment, and that we have to stand with one another and tell our representatives and our senators and our nationally elected leaders something must be done.
8 No Kings protests were scheduled to take place across South Dakota on Saturday.
After a year of operation, the Sacred Storm Buffalo opened a retail location to make the buying process easier for customers.
The company is more than just selling meat, as it's an employment development opportunity for young people dealing with personal obstacles.
We bring them in, they come with their traumas, they come with their addictions. We bring them in, we smudge them down, we take them to sweat and see if they actually want to do the program. It's a sobriety program. Try to give them the resources to try to better themselves, financial literacy, even just getting their social security cards and IDs. That was a struggle.
The name Sacred Storm is for White Eagle's granddaughter who lost her life at a young age, and the mentoring program comes from his son's perseverance to help others get through their traumas just as he did.
Now let's check in with meteorologist Scott Munn, starting the day with some showers and storms out there, Scott.
Yeah, we've been following those throughout much of this morning, and we'll see what redevelops as we get into the later part of the afternoon and evening, as we are expecting to see redeveloping thunderstorms later today as a front tries to move across eastern and southeastern KELOLAND. In the meantime, expect high temperatures in the 80s to near 90 degrees. A chance for 90-degree heat today in southeastern South Dakota. Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. We took some time to appreciate the father figures in our lives yesterday.
We caught up with dads at Sertoma Park in Sioux Falls, and one of them was talking about the importance of celebrating Father's Day.
For the most part, I just think a lot of dads just move in silent support and stuff and do a lot of things behind the scenes that you don't even realize.
The first Father's Day was celebrated in Washington State in 1910, but it did not become a nationwide holiday until 1972.
Well, the wait is finally over. We now know what's been stored inside a time capsule in southwest Minnesota for the past 104 years.
The capsule was opened Saturday as part of the Friendship Day celebration in Hills, Minnesota. Demolition crews originally discovered the capsule inside the cornerstone while tearing down the old secondary school building.
Some of the items kept inside were newspapers dating back to 1921, a sealed scroll, and school records. You can see a full listing of everything inside the time capsule with this story on KELOLAND.com.
Bowling is making a comeback as a go-to pastime, blending nostalgia with modern entertainment. Whether you're rolling strikes for fun or competing with friends, the sport has evolved into an exciting social experience.
In KELOLAND, bowlers can take advantage of an incredible deal, access to dozens of bowling centers with options for hourly play or multiple games at a fraction of the cost.
The KELOLAND bowling card is a great value. It's over a $1,000 value. It's only $165. 26 bowling centers across the state. So you can go on a tour of South Dakota and KELOLAND and visit all these different bowling centers and enjoy 2 hours of bowling or 6 games. So it's a great thing for bowlers and a great thing for families too.
You can order yours today by heading to KELOLAND.com.
But you'd better hurry because there's only a limited number of cards available.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get another Check Your Weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, our weather picture today. Well, we are keeping a close eye on the risk of some thunderstorms in spots here. The latest word from the Storm Prediction Center this morning, a broad slight risk is out. So that means that the potential there for hail and damaging winds, but also a couple of pockets where it's an enhanced risk. You go into central Minnesota, especially, the concoction would favor even some tornado development, but also just that straight line wind and hail threat is definitely definitely there too. So we'll keep a close eye on it if it does develop. Of course, you have to break through the cap. You have to see the thunderstorm ingredients all coming together at the right time. So it's not a guarantee that this whole area will fill in, but there'll definitely be spots where some storms can form, and new updates will be forthcoming throughout the day today. So stay plugged in on the weather. Now, Sioux Falls area should come close to 90. We're thinking that any rain on radar this morning, a lot of it in central South Dakota, will tend to break up, but then redevelop again with that frontal system on the move late in the afternoon. And you can see some of the blowups on radar. Northeast Nebraska and extending down toward Grand Island. That's another area that'll probably source out a little heftier on the rains. Then there's a separate area of thunderstorms in the Black Hills this evening. That could come across southern South Dakota if it holds together. That's the question. You know, we've had some areas here west of Sioux Falls, kind of a gap zone lately that hasn't rained a whole lot. So I know that's kind of where we're sitting here. We've got some chances that that occurs, but I'm not going to guarantee that because the other ones have not necessarily been full lines of thunderstorms. Tuesday, guess what? Same thing. We could flare up in the west, and then we'll kind of watch to see how things progress into southeastern Kettleland. So keep an eye on the weather, too. It does trend a little cooler into Wednesday. We're holding highs in the mid to upper 70s in the northeast, with likely Sioux Falls, too, not too hot yet. That's changing. Get ready for heat and humidity at the end of the week. In fact, it looks like right now, getting past Thursday into Friday, another warm front's going to develop. I can't rule out a couple thunderstorms on that. That's not in our 7-day yet. But once we get into Saturday, boy, that looks hot. 92 with a lot of humidity. And then any thunderstorm chances, that's just going to be something we'll have to kind of contend with later in the forecast as eventually this heat will break down. We're getting some pretty good evidence that just beyond day 7, there's going to be another big change in the weather next week. So we're going to get a big dose of heat, and then it will go backwards again. Here in central South Dakota, get ready for some thunderstorm chances to regroup here tonight. We'll be watching that. Also, I think even into midweek, we could repeat at least a few scattered thunderstorms. And likewise, Rapid City, excellent chance of rain tonight. Much cooler tomorrow, high at 73, back to the 90s again on Thursday and Friday. Check out more details online at kettleland.com.